All right, what's going on, guys? It's Luke here. Today we're going to do a video going over my number one prop firm, which is Topstep. And you're going to see a lot of people who complain about Topstep. They say Topstep is bad and all this stuff like that. Most of them are just saying that because they don't make any money from Topstep because there's no affiliate program, or they got dropped when they used to do affiliates. And the other thing is, most of them trade like complete morons. They blow a lot of evals, they blow a ton of XFAs trying to full port them, and then they get put in the focus trader program, or they get banned off of the platform. And yeah, that's why they complain. So if you ever hear somebody just constantly complaining about Topstep, go check their bio, look at their affiliates, and yeah, just don't listen to them because they're usually complete retards. So anyway, I'm gonna run through why Topstep is my number one firm still, and I'm gonna explain to you guys kind of like why I recommend Topstep to pretty much like anybody who's not necessarily to beginners, because there's obviously cheaper prop firms with different rules that cater to beginners. Like if you're a beginner, I always say alpha zeros, but as you get more advanced, these are the accounts that I recommend. I'm going to run through this video really quick. There's really nothing crazy to go over. I've been trading with Topstep for a long time. Never had an issue with payouts. Never had a problem ever. So with Topstep, you can have up to 5 accounts. You just need 5 winning days of $150, and then you can request half of your balance. So say you run the accounts up 4,000, you request 2,000, you're left with $2,000. So obviously it's better to build a decent sized buffer rather than like take a $250 payout and then be left with 250 in the account. So the bigger buffer is better, but with these you can get max 5K payout per account. So if you have 5 accounts, that is a 25K payout, and then 4 payouts, and then on the 5th you get moved to live usually, depending on the balances of your XFAs and stuff like that. The reason I love Topstep so much is because no consistency on the funded accounts and no news rules. These are 2 rules that I absolutely can't stand on funded accounts, when there is a consistency on funded accounts and then there is a news rule. Let me break those down really quick, okay? Certain funded accounts will have a 40%, 50% consistency rule. So that means even if you have 5 winning days of $150, if you don't meet that consistency, you can't request a payout. So there's been plenty of times where I've been on accounts where, you know, I've knocked out my 5 winning days of $150. My balance is whatever, but I need to make more to satisfy that consistency rule. And then you just end up, sometimes you'll just end up literally blowing the account because it's just mentally it's taxing. So with this, as long as you knock your 5 winning days of $150, it does not matter. You're eligible to request a payout. And there's no news rule, which means you can trade the news, you can trade through the news, you can execute at the news. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever. You can literally do whatever you want, where other firms, they have the 2 minutes before, 2 minutes after rule. So you can't place trades before or after like 2 minutes of the news. You don't have to worry. So the less things to worry about, the better. And this is why I love Topstep. And you get a 90% split after 10K. The first 10K is 100%. So like these accounts are great. Okay. On top of that, you're using Project X, which is a great platform. If you've never used Project X, I encourage you to go watch some videos on it. It's a great platform. It did have some issues a couple months ago, which was annoying, but Trade has also had issues. Like I've had more issues with Trade. I haven't had an issue with Project X in the last like probably 3 months, and I've had issues with Trade multiple times. So you like, obviously Project X was a new platform. It's still relatively a new platform, so it was going to have some issues, and since then there's been nothing, and I've been having a smooth ride with Topstep. I love Topstep. And they've also, another thing, they've sped up their payout time. So before, if you guys know, it used to take like 3 days, a couple days extra, some people would like a week, whatever. And recently they've sped up the times. Like my last payout last week, I requested, I got it within 24 hours right from requesting to my bank. It ended up in just a little over 24 hours, and I just need 2 more winning days, and I'm going to secure another payout this upcoming week. So I'll be sure to see how long it takes this time again, and I'll keep you guys posted. I post those in the Discord, in the live updates channel. But we're going to run through the plans really quick, and talk to you guys what I use. And yeah, so we're on the website right here. You have 2 options. You have the standard and the no activation fee. Okay, same thing, but the difference with the standard is you're getting a cheaper startup cost, and then you have to pay an activation fee. And the no activation fee is there's no activation fee after you pass the account, right? So let's start with the standard. This is what it was before they added, because the no activation account was just added a couple months ago, right? I think at the end of 2025, I can't really remember. So you have obviously 3 accounts. You have your 50Ks, 100Ks, and 150Ks. I usually just go for the 50Ks. The 150Ks is the next bet. I would not go for the 100Ks. They're just kind of a shitty in between. Like if you're gonna go from, if you want to up from 50s, you want to go to the 150s just based on the drawdown rule, because you're going from 2,000 dollars drawdown to $3,000. It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you just take the jump from 2,000 to 4,500? You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, because 3,000 isn't much extra drawdown for double the price, right? So we're gonna start here on the standard account. So basically, $3,000 profit target, $2,000 max drawdown. It's the same thing. There's no daily loss limit, so you can pretty much it doesn't stop you out after $1,000 daily loss limit. You can pretty much trade that to full 2,000 if you want that day. But if you pass, you are paying a $150 activation fee, and that $150 is the same for the 100Ks and the 150Ks. So this is $49 a month. So if you don't pass it, obviously in the first month you get rebuild. But usually with evals, I always tell people to try to get them over with in under a month anyway. Like I'd get them out of the way in like 2 days, but just try to get it out of the way in a month, under a month, and you'll be fine, right? So basically, if you think about it, you're paying $50, and then if you pass, and you pay the activation, it's $200 pretty much all in. But if you lose the account, you blow the eval, you're only out $50. So it's really not that big of a deal, right? If we look at the 150s, you are paying $150, and then if you pass, you're paying $150, so it is $300 US all in. But again, if you do lose and you blow the eval, you're out $150, so it's really not that bad if you think about it, right? Now, these are more for beginners because it's a lower startup cost. That's what I always tell, if you're a beginner, go with the standard because it's just a lower startup cost. Yes, you are gonna have to pay that $150, but you can kind of, like, it's less stress on you knowing that you only put $50 USD into this account, and if you lose it, it is what it is, kind of, right? You're only out $50. So let's go to the no activation fee. This is what I do personally. So basically, it's same idea, it's the same thing, same rules, everything like that, but there's just no activation fee, and obviously you're paying more for the startup cost, right? So these are going to be $109 a month, and the 150s are $209. It's actually like $120 after the tax. But if you see right now, depending on when I upload this, you could use this code for $26 off up to 5 combines, and those are just for the no activation accounts. So this works out to be like 80 something bucks, whatever it is. So a pretty solid deal for a no activation fee account if you guys want to pick these up. But yeah, I've never had one issue with Topstep, like ever. So going back here, I'll run through everything again for you guys really quick. You can have 5 accounts. You just need 5 winning days of $150. You don't have to worry about a consistency on the funded. On the eval, it is 50%. So you need to take 2 minimum days to pass. Obviously, you can make 1,500 day 1, 1,500 day 2. But a lot of people, what they'll do, I usually don't do this, but they'll make $1,500 in New York, and then they'll make $1,500 at night in Asia. So technically it's 2 days, but even it's technically counts as 2 days, but it's really within 1 day. So if you want to do that, but it's a 50% consistency on the eval, which is pretty standard. Like pretty much Lucid has 50%. Like a lot of prop firm accounts, I'll have 50% on the evals, right? So then you see no consistency on the funded, so you could pretty much make as much as you want. No news rules, 90% profit split after 10K, and what else was I gonna say? I don't know, but using Project X, it's a great platform. Now I'm going to talk to you guys how I would go about scaling these accounts. So let me just kind of type that up, and then I'm going to pause it. I'm going to come right back. So like I said, max payout per account is 5K. So if you have 5 of the accounts, you can get a 25K payout. So what you would have to do basically is you'd have to make 10K per account. So you'd have to have a $10,000 buffer across 5 accounts, request 50%. So it'd be 5K, 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 25K, and then after profit split, you get like your 10% taken off, whatever. So that's how you would get like an all-out max payout. But if you want consistent 10K months with these accounts, this is what you would do up until obviously you go to the live account. Basically, you're going to, and I'll make a separate video for like live accounts and stuff like that. This is just for the prop, just strictly the prop ones. I kind of don't want to go into everything and all those other rules right now and stuff like that. But for this, all you're going to need, if you have 5 accounts, you want to work each account up to a $4,000 buffer. So get each account $4,000 into profit, which really isn't crazy hard. If you think about it on the eval, you're making 3K. So it's just like a little bit extra. Do you have to make to 4K? No, you could take whatever you want, right? But this is how you can get a 10K month, 4K buffer on each account. Then you take half off on each account. You request a payout 2K on 5 accounts is literally a 10K month, and you can do that, right? So how do you do this? How much do you risk? You have $2,000 drawdown. So what I would recommend is risking like $500 drawdown, $500 per trade, and just try to slowly build that up. There's different methods, obviously, to working with no consistency on funded accounts. You can obviously, what a lot of people do, what I've done before, is just pretty much, if you see an A plus setup, you just hammer it like $2,000, risking the whole balance to try and hit a banger, and then you make like 6K, 7, 8K, whatever in one trade, then you scrape out the winning days. A lot of people do that. But for consistent payouts, if you really want to be it consistently and you don't want to worry about blowing the account in one trade, I don't like blame you. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. What you want to do is build up slowly to a 4K buffer, take 2K on each account times 5, and then you're having a 10K month. And then literally you just repeat the process. Now you have 2K left in each account. You build that back up to 4K. So you just have to make another $2,000 on each account. Same thing, you're getting another 10K a month, as long as you're risking appropriately, right? It's really not that hard. You can usually do this in like a month. So like it's not that hard. It just takes time, just, you know, like perfecting your craft, but eventually you'll see how easy this actually is, right? What else was I gonna go over? Okay, so yeah, like you really don't, like, building a buffer is totally up to you with these accounts as well. You can, if you really want to, and you haven't taken a payout before, and you bring your account up 1.5K and you want to take a $750 payout, you go ahead. You're left with $750 in the account still. You can easily kind of scrape that and kind of work your way back up. But if you want to take the payout, you don't have to build a huge buffer. It's just you're not left with as much drawdown compared to like Alpha, where they give you the extra drawdown, but that's the one downside. But yeah, you could play it like this. You could play it however you want, but these are the rules. That's pretty much it, guys. There's really nothing else to go over. Again, I recommend at the 50Ks. If you're a beginner, go with the standards. You do have to pay that activation fee. If you're advanced, no activation fee accounts are great. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. We'll be back at it with another prop video soon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.